lot of the hot talk going on about the Miami Dolphins right now. It's been hot talk since the offseason kicked off, but Deebo doesn't want to play with San Fran anymore. And a lot of the talk from I'm hearing is, he needs to come to the Phins, and he wants to come to the Phins, and eventually he's going to come to the Phins. But what I want to get in here is look at a practical look at it, a little bit of my take too, Is Deebo to the Dolphins too much of a good thing? And will it actually do more damage than good to the Phins in the long run? Now, clearly, if you just throw Deebo on this roster, it'd be awesome. There's nothing to dislike about the player, but there's a lot that goes into it. And if you look at our cap right now, 2023, we have $21 million and 36 players signed. So we have 21 to allocate. Yeah, you can cut this guy and that guy. Byron Jones, you can get rid of, and that's like $14 million. Even though it's like a $4 or $5 million cap hit. But still, right now, 36 players. Because, if you get rid of Jones, you got to replace him. So 36 players for 2023, which is a real critical year. And you only got 21 mil. And so if you bring in Deebo, that's a lot of money to the little bit that you have going to the next season on a squad that's pretty packed. Now, 2024, you have $99 million, which is a lot of money, but you only got 16 players signed. And I'm going to go through a list of 2023 and 2024 of all the players that need to be signed and money that's going to need to go to them. And, you spent 2 on Waddle, which, the guy could turn out to be phenomenal and totally worth it. You spent a second and third on Eichenberg. You spent a whole draft on Tyreek. That's a lot of picks that would be filling this roster for cheap that are no longer to be available. Now, Dolphins do great this year and next year. It was all worth it. But you have to spend even more picks now on Deebo to get him here on top of the cap, which is going to constrict your ability to fill this roster up. And you're going to see this roster is going to have a lot of holes going into 23, 24, 25. So 2023, next year, after the season, with that $21 million, you got to choose to give Wilkins that 5th-year option. Gesicki, he's not signed. So, you might say, he's a slot receiver, move on. But who's the tight end to fill him? What are you to use one of your top picks to fill that position? Because it's a key position. Do you think Hunter Long is going to develop? Well, what if he doesn't? Are you going to go with Shaheen and Smythe? I think even Shaheen's up for either this year, next year, or the year after. He's going to be a free agent as well. And then, we're talking about Dieter. We spent a third rounder on him. We're going to go, looks like 4 years of investment in time. And so people saying, well, he's going to develop. He's our guy for the future. Okay, maybe he is, maybe he isn't, whatever. But let's say he is. Next year he's a free agent. And Van Ginkel. Van Ginkel's a free agent next year. Going at 2023 season. So that right there is a big hit with a constricting. You're going to have those 2 firsts, 2 thirds, and a lot of picks, the full slate just about. So it's a lot of players you could bring in, but you're never going to hit on all of them. That's a real thinning of the roster in 2023 that you're going to constrict even further because you're going to have to give some of those picks for Deebo on top of the money. And so for me, I know I probably don't value receivers as much as a lot of modern fans or a lot of fans in general. I'm a big offensive line guy. Still believe the running game's got an importance. I'm really big on the defense. And then I moved to the quarterback and the receiver. Not to say the quarterback's not important, but he's a guy supported by everybody. So for me, it's looking more and more like Deebo would be nice in a vacuum. But when you have to see all it entails to bring him here, it's just looking like way too much, considering you have Waddle with 2 first-round picks. You have possibly Gesicki, who if you want to extend, it's a big, big contract. And then you have Tyreek Hill. You got paying $25 million a year, and you gave up a whole draft practically to get him. And you're going to come in and bring another receiver. So in 2024, you got that $99 million, which looks great, with 16 guys on the roster. That's to his 5th year. If he's the guy, then you're going to have to pay him pretty big money to keep him. And then Connor Williams, who this offensive line needs all the help it get, and this guy pans out, you're going to want to resign him. He's a free agent then too. Austin Jackson, oh, he's going to finally pick it up, develop or whatever. Well, if he does, you're going to have to put the 5th-year option on him then too. And then Zach Sealer, who's one of the best finds we've had in years. He's a free agent. That guy's going to demand big money if he has another season like he had last year. It's going to be big time money to keep this guy. Then Raekwon Davis, down here with the injury. Let's see how he does. But it's a 2nd-round draft pick that, if you want him, you're going to have to put that 2nd contract on him. And then Robert Hunt. It's another guy on the offensive line that if he keeps on developing, he's going to command a sizable salary. So you're going to have to pay Connor Williams. You're going to have to pay Hunt. Dieter, if you want to keep him. I think you could easily be able to replace him. But let's say not. You're going to have to put big money into Connor or replace him. And you have to put big into Hunt or replace him. So, and then 2025, you got Waddle and Holland who are going to come up. And from what you're seeing with these guys are going to get maximum contracts, big contracts. And you're still on the hook for Tyreek Hill. I mean, you could let him go, but you spent an entire draft on him. Are you going to let him go after 2 years? You got to milk that. You got to get as many years out of this guy as possible to really make that move worth it. Unless you win a Super Bowl, then you can let him go year 3, whatever, don't matter. But you spent a whole draft on this guy, to rent him for 2 years? So you're going to be keeping him in 2024, 25. That's 25 a year. And then you're going to be paying Deebo a sizable contract. And then, we're really pressing the offense, right? And defense is critical for this team, especially with the style of defense, the players that we put in to create this style of defense. You need 2 good corners. Not 1, 2 very good corners. Now, Byron Jones, you want to let him go next year. He's not good enough. Get somebody. How are you going to acquire that? You're going to spend big money on a free agent or spend a big pick on a corner? And that's never a guaranteed thing. Look at Noah. No, will Noah pan out? Maybe. But he hasn't shown anything yet. And then Howard, big contract, but even if you keep both Jones and Howard, by that time, these guys are like 31 years old. So you're going to have to somehow replace that along with all these other pieces. Now, 2022, this season, I really like the way they balanced everything as far as the cap. They've got $100 million on the offense and then 93 on the defense, and then the rest is squandered money, cap hits. You got to pay guys who left or whatever. So it's real good balance in that, in the way the cap's being spent. And you really want a balanced team, because if you look at all the teams that make it, they got good defenses. Good defenses win championship. And that's, with all these moves, that's what it's about, winning a championship. But you look at 2023, you're at $118 million to $80 million. And then if you add Deebo on top of it, tack another 10, 15 at least, depending on how you manipulate the cap or whatever, maybe more, maybe 20. So, you'd be at $138 million for your offense at 80 for your defense. And that, to me, does not feel good. And then, as you head into that 2024 season, Armstead's going to be 33, 34. He'll be 33, 30, 31. Those are 2 big pieces that are getting older. In football, as much as people are playing later now, you're seeing some real amazing training regimes and regiments and medical feats. It's a young man's game. So, to me, Deebo would really be wonderful. But a question I have on top of all this is Deebo's contention with the 49ers. He didn't like the way he was used last year. Okay? Like as a flanker type kind of character, where he runs the football, catches the football. but that was his most successful season. So are you going to trade picks to go on a hook for a guy who's what appears to be his most successful mold he doesn't want to play in? And then another, some yellow talk was that he didn't like how Shanahan called the offense last year. He wanted to come to McDaniel. But from what we're told, McDaniel was the genius behind the throne, and he was calling all the plays, and basically Shanahan was just the guy getting the glory. So there is some contradiction here and inconsistencies that, to me, you take that money and those picks, you invest in corners, offensive line, filling out the rest of your roster. I mean, I just don't really see it. To me, it just doesn't really make sense. Now, I watched a show, Phins, I believe it's called. Guy's, real smarty and has all these tweet things he talks about. I don't know how he juggles it all. Dude, I don't. It's amazing. I don't know, how much all of it's accurate because he's, kind of guessing what this guy means. But he has contacts, he has contacts, and I think the guy's very smart, and he pulls. And he was talking about how, we get him in here, and just when Hill's getting a little too old, we get rid of him, and we keep Deebo, and how he could do it cap-wise. And it all sounded really good. But for me, when I dig into it, you're getting too top-heavy on the offense, too top-heavy on the receiver position, way too top-heavy. And one thing we're seeing clearly is offensive line and defense is what carries teams. And our defense is starting to get a little thinnish in critical areas. And the offensive line, as much as I like Armstead and Williams and Hunt, these guys, two of them are going to be coming up for contracts, and there's some thinness there. And the best guy we got on the team right now is going to be pretty old, and he's got an injury history. So it might be great for this season. It might even work next season. You could juggle and pay, just do the poison. All right, we're going to, by 2025, we're just gutting the whole team. All right, maybe, but still with all these picks invested, all this money, it really looks like it's going to make us too thin. So for my money, Deebo to the Dolphins, I don't like it. I think it's too much of a good thing. It's going to turn into a bad thing and leave us really naked at some point in all critical areas. But I want to see if my mind can get changed. I want to hear from you guys. Comments, like I said, always mean the most to me. I really think about what you guys say. I really, really do. I might say, oh, no, but I'm going back and think I come back to you because I really, really believe in community thought. So let me know what you think. Am I crazy? Am I wrong? Maybe some things I missed you could point out. But anyway, this is Curtis saying thank you for staying to the end. Please like, comment, subscribe. Comments. Subscribes and likes help us with the Google overlords. Keeps my sponsor in business and keeps me doing this for a living, which I really, really like. A lot of competition out there, a lot of good channels that I'm seeing. I'm surprised I even got this far. So I appreciate everything you guys have done. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the likes. I appreciate the subscribes and the views and all that stuff. So thank you. Anyway, to me, too much. Deebo is too much. Anyway, Curtis, catch you next time. This is Curtis saying be well. See you soon. Go Phins and get ready for the draft. Bookies can earn hundreds to thousands of dollars from booking action with AcePerHead.com.